The last video I shared about our Airbnb lake cabins, you had so many amazing questions. I was sharing what's lasted and what has not, and you wanted to see how I prepare our cabins for our guests and some of the behind the scenes stuff. So today I'm going to take you along with me as we go to our first vacation rental and then our second later on in this week, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do to prepare for our guests. I'm also going to fix some of the issues that I shared with you at the cabins in the last video, so let's go. So first on my checklist today is just finishing up replacing these chair pads. You might remember in my last video on our rentals, I showed you my DIY chair pads where the ties were just ripped completely off. And lots of you suggested just the ones with the nice grippy back that have no ties whatsoever. I found these on Amazon. They're the right color. They're so squishy, so comfortable. They have this grippy backside and they fit the chairs just fine. So they're gonna be nice and comfortable. I didn't wanna leave off a cover completely because these chairs are rather hard. So replacing them all, they're an absolute game changer. I will leave a link to these chair pads that I'm using here down in that description box below. Another update I want to make to the space is I want to swap out the cushions here in the living room. Now, we know that houses are going to have wear and tear, so a lot of the things that get worn out or broken, we don't necessarily think of as the guest's fault. It's just, after 3 years of use with these cushions, we see some pilling, we see, it just kind of looks worn. So I'm excited because I'm gonna swap them out. I made these, so I'm kind of sad to see them go, but they're definitely worn looking. I'm gonna swap them out with cushion covers from my own shop. So that's kind of exciting. Little by little, I'm swapping things out in the cabins with things from my own shop. And these ones are very, very durable. And I think the plaid and the stripe is gonna look perfect in this cabin. So one of the favorite updates that I'm doing today is these IKEA Rattan chairs were in our own home, and I'm trying to really honor the traditional and transitional look of our own home. So I thought I would bring these over to this house because I feel like they're the perfect style for this sort of coastal boho aesthetic that I have happening here. And they look a lot more substantial than the little folding chairs that I had in the corners of the bedroom. I always like adding some seating in bedrooms, whether it's here at the rentals or in my own home, because it's always nice to have some extra options in your space. Our cleaner was just here at the cabin. So what I usually do is after the cleaner comes, I just go through and do a little check. We're very lucky because we have an incredible team of cleaners that I really can trust. I do have a very detailed checklist. I think it's like 78 points or something. I use an app called Turno that my cleaners and I can access, and they can check off, and I can make sure that all of the tasks are finished. And then when I check through, I can also double check all of those items. There's just so many details that go into vacation rentals, and we just can't miss them because sometimes we'll have the odd guest that likes to check every single nook and cranny and is not happy, of course, when there's a nook or a cranny missed in the clean. So I just wander through the house, double check that we don't have any lint or we have any hair anywhere. That's the biggest thing in the rentals is hair. So we like to lint roll everything. And then I just open the cupboards, check those. And then I also check to make sure that we have enough towels in the bathroom, that we have everything set out for the next guests. After checking through everything, it all looks fabulous as per usual. So I'm really excited for our guests to arrive soon. If you want to see my extensive checklist for cleaning cleaning and sanitizing our vacation rentals, I'll leave a link to it down in the description box below. So now is one of my most favorite parts of getting these rentals set up for the guests. I like to personalize them, so before each guest comes, I send out a questionnaire asking them a little bit more about themselves, why they're coming, maybe it's to celebrate a birthday, an anniversary. I also ask them what their favorite special drink is, whether it's some beer, some wine, or some sparkling juice. I just want to make sure that we gift them something that they'll actually drink. So this guest wanted some beer, and they specifically asked for Corona because they're celebrating a special memory. So I'm gonna add that into the fridge for them. And I love just to add those little surprises for the guests so that they just feel more welcome, and little things like that I find just go a long way. We also like to leave out just a small little gift basket. It just has some simple things like some popcorn, granola bars, and some snacks, just making sure that we don't include any sort of allergens in the snacks. And then I like to handwrite a note. I spend a lot of time handwriting notes, but it's something that I myself appreciate when I visit places, and I just appreciate handwritten notes, period. So just something like that takes me a few minutes, but I just want our guests to just feel that personal welcome from Sean and me. So now that this house is ready for our guests coming this afternoon, I'm just gonna sanitize any of those doorknobs that I touched, because I find that's an important step as well. And then in a couple days, we're gonna go take a trip to our other tiny lake house and get that one ready for guests too. I'm also gonna take some updated photos of this space since I swapped out those cushions and things, because I find updated photos make a huge difference in what our guests expect and what they actually see in the cabin. All right, it is now Friday, and I'm gonna head out to our second cabin, our tiny lake house. Cleaner's been there as well, so I'm just gonna check everything. I have a whole bunch of stuff to drop off because we're low on things like hand soap and snacks. And then I'll walk you through how I set that one up for our guests. So let's go. So now I'm here at our tiny lake house. Same thing, I'm just double checking all of the cleaning to make sure everything's done and it's looking great so far. One thing that I brought in to add today is this armrest for the little sofa in here. I thought this would be the perfect solution because there's not very much space. We only have a small coffee table. I'm gonna put this on the arm of the sofa, and then it's gonna be another spot for people to be able to leave their drinks. Easy to clean, and I think it'll be perfect. I'll link this in the description box below. It's just from Amazon, so nice and inexpensive. And then just like in our other rental, I'm adding some personalized touches to the little gift basket we leave, the handmade card, the requested drink, and I feel, again, like all those just small little details make such a difference in everybody's experience here. And just like the last one, I have my list on Turno that I'm checking that the cleaner's done. And then I also have this system called Alfred, and that's what our door locks are. And before I'm leaving, I'm just adding the personalized code into my app, making sure that it works on the lock so that the guest can let themselves in nice and easily. Now that I'm done the door locks, I just did a quick check to make sure all the towels and everything was out for the next guests. Everything looks great. So we're ready to have our guests arrive today. Like the last cabin, I'll sanitize anything that I touched on the way out, and we're ready to go. So reflections on hosting. It has now been over 3 years since my husband Sean and I started our hosting journey as vacation rental hosts. We're on Airbnb, Vrbo, and we also do direct bookings now. 99.9% probably love doing this. Most of our guests are respectful, friendly, wonderful. If there's issues with the cabin, they'll communicate them with us, and we're really quick to fix anything that needs to be fixed. Sean is so amazing for driving out to the cabins to bring things to the guests if they need them or to fix problems. And we have made mistakes and forgotten things for sure over the last 3 years. So we're really happy when our guests are gracious and communicative and we can fix anything and help them out. There have been those few guests over the last 3 years that have been impossible to please and have been very difficult. Every time I have one of those guests at our cabins, I do everything I possibly can to make things right for them, but it's just very frustrating and it makes me really upset. However, just like any job, there's pros and cons to hosting, and the pros still outweigh the cons in our cabins. So that is how we prep the cabins for guests. If you have any questions about the programs or the apps we use or anything else about our vacation rentals, whether it's hosting or what we have in the cabins. I would love to hear. Definitely comment below so we can keep the conversation going. If you want to see how we renovated this cabin from start to finish, it had no plumbing and no heating when we started. I'll leave a video for you to watch next all about that right up here.